Hello everyone, it's Joseph Dunphy here, and this is your weekly Grass10 grazing management update on the Dairy Edge. Your pasture-based data for the week: the average farm cover, 802 kilos of dry matter per hectare, and the cover per livestock unit is 264 kilos of dry matter per livestock unit. Growth was 47 kilos of dry matter per hectare for the last 7 days, and demand down to 42 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Pre-grazing yield is 1,336 kilos of dry matter per hectare, and there's roughly about 5 kilos of supplement going in at the minute, with a diet currently of 13 kilos of grass, 4 kilos of meal, and a kilo of silage. Dry matter percentages for the week: 17% in Athenry, County Galway, 20% in Grange, County Meath, and 16% in Moorpark, County Cork. Your predicted grass growth, rainfall, and soil temperatures for the coming 7 days. Grass growth predictions are expected to be between 50 and 60 kilos of dry matter per hectare for large parts of the southwest, the west, and the north. However, some areas of the east and the southeast that are still in soil moisture deficits are still expected to grow in the region of between 30 to 40 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day. Average soil temperatures are expected to be in the region of 14 to 15 degrees for the coming week, and predicted rainfall amounts are expected to be low, with less than 10 millimetres of rain expected for the west and the chance of between maybe 15 to 20 millimetres of rain for parts of the east. Your Grass10 tips for this week: average farm cover and cover per livestock unit has increased slightly this week, with growth rates of 47 kilos of dry matter per hectare on dairy farms. There is a considerable amount of supplement in the diet on dairy farms at the minute to build grass. Some farms, particularly in the east and the southeast, are struggling with growth rates of less than 40 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day due to the soil moisture deficits. This week's forecast is positive for farms who have received adequate rainfall, with high temperatures and sunshine, which should boost growth rates. There is the potential that some of these farms will grow in the region of 55 to 60 kilos dry matter per hectare this week, so continue to focus on keeping 15 to 20 of a difference between growth and demand to build average farm cover on these farms. The farms will be set up for a minimum of a 30-day rotation in the month of September, and it's important to fill the feed gap with meal and silage to hold this rotation at 30 days. So for a 30-hectare farm, graze 1 hectare per day. Advice on remaining nutrient application: so the chemical N and P fertiliser application date has now passed. There is still an opportunity to apply K and lime with the current excellent ground conditions on farm. There is still some slurry remaining on tanks on some farms up and down the country, so dilute this slurry down and spread now with LESS at a rate of between 1,500 to 2,000 gallons on grazed ground or on ground that has been cut recently for silage. Soiled water in collecting yard tank should be sprayed between now and the 1st of October on grazed ground. Get your entries in now for the 2024 Sustainable Grassland Farmer of the Year competition. The closing date is next Monday, the 23rd of September. The competition recognises and acknowledges those dairy, beef and sheep farmers who are achieving high levels of grass utilisation in a sustainable manner. This year's competition has 6 categories: dairy, dry stock, nutrient management and use efficiency, clover, organic farming, and the young farmer category. Each category winner will receive €5,000, and the overall winner will be selected from the category winners and will receive an additional €5,000. If you are disappointed with 2024 so far on your farm, and this is putting you off entering the competition, not to worry. The Sustainable Grassland Farmer of the Year judging panel will look at your farm performance over a 4 to 5 year period. So a reminder to get your entries in before next Monday, the 23rd of September, and the entry form is in this week's Grass10 newsletter. This week's featured farmer is Philip Donoghue from Goresbridge, County Carlow. Philip's average farm cover this week: 629 kilos of dry matter per hectare. The cover per livestock unit is 230 kilos of dry matter per hectare, and growth is 25 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Its pre-grazing yields are about 1,000 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day at the minute. Milk yield is 19.7 litres, 512 fat, and 4.27 protein. From a grazing management point of view, Philip says, "I'm struggling to build grass supply as we're in soil moisture deficits at the minute and we need rain. This is having a huge impact on growth rates here on the farm. With the poor growth, the cows are getting 6 kilos of meal and 6 kilos of silage, which 4 bales per day to reduce demand. Our rotation length is now on 40 days, with the cows on 12-hour grass allowances." Philip received an outblock 2 weeks ago with a silage mix. The grass seed mix that went into this out farm was Galgorm, Aston Conquer, and Abergane. Finally, on this week's podcast, Our final Sustainable Grassland Farmer of the Year Farm Walk will take place next Wednesday, the 23rd of September at 11 a.m. on the farm of Evan Hunt, Tubbercurry, County Sligo. Evan was the Young Farmer category winner of the 2023 Sustainable Grassland Farmer of the Year competition. There's a promotional video in this week's Grass10 newsletter and across all our social media accounts, so make sure to have a look at that. If you'd like to hear more from the Grass10 team, subscribe to the weekly Grass10 newsletter, which is available on the Grass10 page on the Teagasc public website, and the link to the newsletter is also available in the description of this podcast. This has been your Grass10 update, and I'll talk to you all next week.